I chose Amy Carmichael because she seemed to be different than most missionaries that I've been reading about. Her focus eventually was to India and the Indian children. Just a little background information about her is that she was from Ireland. She was born December 16th, 1867, and she was born to a wealthy family in Millisle, Ireland. Her dad owned a flour mill, and she had a really good life up until some financial difficulties her father made, some bad investment decisions, and eventually, because of the weight of the finances, her father contracted pneumonia and passed away. With this in mind, the family had some financial difficulties. The brothers and sisters, and being the mom, they were still staunch believers in Christ. But because of the decisions the dad made, the family had to move to another village. And with that move, Amy was exposed to a group of young ladies called Shawleys. They were ostracized young ladies who worked in the mills that wore shawls. And she took it upon herself to minister to these young ladies. She would host Bible studies. She even took the initiative of opening up a center so that the girls could get an education. And this was one of her first missionary outreaches. And then she was befriended by an older gentleman, and she went to live with him for a while, who was part of the Keswick order in the city. And he didn't actually adopt her, but he thought well of her to the point that she took part of his name into her name. Eventually, she was called to international missions, and she first went over to Asia, over in Shanghai area, but she was called back home. And it wasn't until she heard the call to go to India, it's when her missions expedition was being fulfilled. And so she was called to India, and her concentration was in Donhaver, India. And one of the things that stood out the most to me about Carmichael was her prayer life. Now, Elisabeth wrote that she would have visions in dreams about God being with her and her plans on the mission field. But more importantly, Amy had a very strict life. She would pray, the Bible says, without ceasing, and make any movement she had heard. That's how prayer life humbled me. Prayed all the time. She had this relationship with God, and she sought His guidance in all things. Another thing that struck me was wonderful ability